Discusses in the Middle Ages how there used to be a very popular person people used to go to called the alchemist. The alchemist was a scientist slash magician. They believed in mystical science, and they used to use alchemy to turn regular cheap metals into gold. And even though this magic was a fraud, people used to believe in it. Therefore, the alchemist, people used to think that he had the best life because he could just make up gold and just make money out of nowhere and live a good life. So therefore, he had endless wealth at his disposal. But the Chavod Levavot teaches us that that a person who relies on Hashem, he's even better than the alchemist. His life will be better than the alchemist. Has advantages over him. You would think, how? The alchemist, he can get money on demand at all times. He's the most serene and calm person. No? So he says that no, it's not. You're going to see that, for example, the alchemist needs to have some base metals. He has to have something to create something from something. We rely on Hashem who could create something from nothing. And a person's always scared of getting caught as an alchemist, and a person who's fearful of God is not fearful of anybody else. He's not scared of getting caught. You understand? So we're going to explain a few more advantages later, but the main thing is, why does the Chavod Levavot choose an alchemist to compare him to a Baal Bitachon? What does it have to do with each other? So he explains that in today's day and age, alchemy could be compared to having counterfeit money machine. That's a similar idea today, right? You go home, you need $100. You say, hey, I'll go downstairs, I'll go to the machine, turn it on, start printing money, and then give $100 to it if you need to get $100 to. So the alchemist was similar, and it had this similar power. So the Chavod Levavot says that realizing that this is not going to be the end goal, and it's not going to be super helpful in the end, rather having bitachon is going to be the real way to be able to be successful in life. So therefore he says that the Chazal use these type of mashalim in order to show us how having bitachon is so amazing. For example, we have to realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is our Avinu Shebashamayim, our Father in heaven, right? We have this image, mashal, that our Father loves his children. We have to imagine that Hashem is like our Father. Obviously, he's not a human, but in a sense, he acts towards us like our Father does to his Son. For example, a guy would say, my father's a doctor, right? So if he falls, ever needs a cut, he's not worried to go into the hospital because he knows he go home, his father will stitch him up, his father will take care of it. So therefore, that's how we have to be not worried about anything. That we have to realize our Father in heaven is HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the best doctor. He's the best banker. He's the one who can give us loans. He's the one who could heal us. He's the one who can solve all the solutions for us. He's our lawyer. He's our everything, right? So therefore, the person has to have this imagery, this mashal, and therefore have bitachon. But the Chavod Levavot says that we can learn from bitachon and overcome all these and be in a higher advantage than the alchemist. He says that the power of our bitachon can change the way we look at things, and there are many situations that people don't understand, but bitachon will solve all our problems for us. For example, there's a famous mashal, Rochana Wasserman, who used to say how a city child, a child who grew up in the city, never saw farmland, never saw people planting, harvesting, never saw this stuff. He goes to a wheat farm one day, and he sees the workers breaking the ground, ripping up the ground, plowing. And he says, what are you guys doing? You're destroying such a good land. Why are you destroying the land? And then he sees that he throws seeds in there, and they start drowning it in water. And he says, why are you destroying the land, drowning it in water? It's flooding. Why are you flooding the whole land? And then he sees that the wheat grew, and he says, wow, look a beautiful thing they planted. And then they come with the machines, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. They start cutting everything and chopping everything down. Why are you destroying such a wonderful field? It grew so nice. And he didn't understand why they're doing. And then all of a sudden, he goes and then he sees them grinding it up into small pieces, destroying it even more, making flour. And then they start baking it, and he sees the most beautiful bread come out, the most beautiful samsek come out. And he says, wow, unbelievable. He was shocked. He never knew this was the end goal. And a lot of times, we have to realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does the same thing for us. A person who's an alchemist, and he relies on his skills, relies on his business. A person relies on, I have a job, I have parnasa, I have connections, I have ability to go and make things happen. I know a lot of people, I'm hooked up. A person has to know at the end of the day, there'll be situations where things happen out of your control, and you don't understand what's happening. But if you have bitachon, you'll be able to do smooth sailing during those situations as well. So therefore, a lot of times Hashem is cooking for us. Hashem is grinding up, plowing, making flour, making bread for us, and we think He's destroying us. We think that He's ruining our life, but really He's building us. So therefore, a person who relies on himself and his skills and his connections and his abilities, he's like the alchemist. But there'll be times where you don't understand what's going on, and that's where you need bitachon. So therefore, a person should look at his life, look at the life, your situation in your life that's difficult. Everybody has difficulties. Look in that situation and realize maybe you're looking at it wrong. Why are you looking in your limited view? right? Person has to realize that maybe we get tunnel vision. We see life only one way. And we don't realize that maybe there's things we don't know about. Maybe there's something Hashem is cooking, He's planning for us. He's harvesting right now. He's plowing the field. It's difficult. But in the end, the Kodesh Baruch Hu is going to give us the bread. Baruch Hu.